Right, back again. So we've had quite a busy day already, but I do want to share this with you. So what I've been doing in the last week, so I have most of the components of werewolf figure number 1 done. I realised actually I hadn't done the buckle yet, so I've done a little buckle that'll need stitching on, and then obviously I need to do the face features, put the hat on and so on, put the arms on. But this little one's quite close to being finished. So I thought, well, if I get the bulk of the stitching done for the second one, particularly while it's still fresh in my mind, when I can remember what I did, and then I can show you how we put them together, which I thought you might hopefully find interesting. And also then I'll be well on the way to finishing my 2 figures in time for the end of the month, which is only a couple of weeks away now, when they're needed for. And then I'll just get on as much detail as I can, as and when, in between times now. But I've got the bulk of it done. So we're going to start with the feet. So this funny looking thing that's going to be the boots and then the putty. There's 2 of those to do. And then we need to stitch up the body and the head and the legs, which is the main part. And then I've got obviously my 2 arms, and I've got my little collar and the bottom of the jacket and the belt and the second buckle all made, and that's the central part where the buttonholes go, and the hat. So I've got all the basics there. So I'm going to make a start. So I'm going to start with the feet. So I've got some little markers on there to help me, and then I need to stitch up around the bottom to start making the foot shape, and then you kind of squish the end together to make the toe, so it'll look something like that by the end, and then build it up from there. So I'm going to start stitching one of the feet. Back in a while. So I hope this makes sense, but there is a central seam from the heel towards the toe, so I've stitched up just the 2 sides of the seam together up about this far, and then you do a running stitch around the last area and pull it tight to make the toe shape. And now I'm just going to do the other foot. So that's the bottom of boot number 2 stitched up, and boot number 1 has some of the toy stuffing inside. And now I'm going to stitch up the back of that boot and stuff the first boot. That's it. So 2 little booties. So I just put stuffing in the toe, and then the heel, and then the ankle. And now I'm ready to stitch up the putties. So that's my 2 boots and putties stitched up. And now I need to stitch those to the bottom of the trousers. But to be able to do that, I need to join the bottom part of the trouser seams. And then I'll stitch that into the bottom of to the top of the putty. So I'll do the bottom of the 2 trouser seams next. Okay, so you'll notice there's a few little markers on my boot. There's 1 on each side and the toe. So I don't think I really need the toe one anymore. So I'm just going to take that out. And the other one. And then just put a little loose knot in so that it wouldn't go loose. And then from the trousers, I've got the inner seam that I've just made where I stitched up The reason for not stitching too far is I need to be able to get the stuffing in, because I've only got stuffing up to the ankles so far, if you remember. And then this other marker is to line up with the other side of the boot. So I've got so kind of, they're a bit baggy, and then we've got to kind of tuck them in and line up that side of the boot on that side and the inner seam with the other marker on that side. So I did find this a bit fiddly last time, so I'm not going to film all of it, but I'll stitch one in and I'll show you how it looks when it's stitched in. Sometimes things don't always go to plan, and this is definitely one of those times. Anyway, so just doing one-legged from it. So that's obviously, so that's going to be the back of the body eventually, the head. So that's the front of the leg, and on that one, the boot is facing forwards. Unfortunately for me, when I put the other one on, I lined up the two sides, but I lined up the wrong two sides. So this boot is, oh, hang on. Oh, actually, sorry, beg your pardon. The way it was lying, I thought I'd put it on back to front, which is kind of a speciality of mine, but I think they are okay. I think we're good. Right, okay. Phew. I was just going to say I'll have to do it again, but I think we're okay. It's always good to have both the boots facing the same way. Right, so as I mentioned, the reason for not putting stuffing too high at the moment is so that we can start stuffing in while I can still get in, as it were. And then there's a lot of detail in the instructions about marking where the crotch is, and then you're going to stitch down and everything, but I think it's pretty self-evident really, so I don't have too many issues with that. But the main issue I had was getting the boots on straight last time, but they have actually turned out okay this time, thankfully. So I can take out those markers and put a bit of stuffing down there, and then start stitching up the rest of the legs. Right, I was getting a bit carried away there. So back again. So where are we up to? So we've got boots, puttees and legs now stitched up, stitched together and stuffed up to about here. So we have a pair of legs stuffed. So the next part will be to start stitching up the back of the body, and again leaving a space big enough to get stuffing in. And I need to finish the head, and then I've already put through my stitch to have I actually? No, I might need to do that. I need to do a running stitch to draw the neck part together, and obviously stitch up the top, and then get some stuffing in there as well. So it's all about the stuffing tonight. There you go. But I'm quite relieved the feet were actually the right way around. I was a bit worried there for a while. Right, a bit more seam stitching. Okay, so stuffed legs, and now I've got middle of the back stitched up. I've got the head closed off and stitched up, and I've got my running stitch. I'll show you around the neck so I can tighten up to form the head. So we need to stuff the head, and we need to stuff the body, and then stitch up the rest of the back. And also make the neck shape. Right, so I stuff the head and then the body apparently. So let's give this one a nice fat head. So just popping some, if we can get it in. Let's loosen that off for now. There we go. So I feel like I could have been a bit more generous with the stuffing in the other head, so we'll give this one a bit of a bigger head. Maybe this one is 6 7/8 and the other one isn't. So maybe about there. And then draw in the neck. Let's see, because I found out felt like the hat on the other one was a little bit big. So you can draw in the hat a bit as well. But yeah, I could have made the head on the other one a little bit bigger, I think. So that seems okay. I'm assuming that I'll tie that off. Fasten off loose ends, yeah, we can do that. Oh, so. I realise actually when I'm concentrating, I talk more quietly. I'm not sure I can fix that, if I'm honest. Anyway, so that's the head, and then we need to, obviously, let's going to trim that a bit. So those bits will tuck in. Anyway, I've left that to stitch up the rest of the body, and I need to just stuff the rest of the body. I won't film this bit because it's quite long already. So I'll finish stuffing and stitch up the body and then come back. Right, it's taken a long time actually to even get this far. So I normally, to be truthful, just sit and beaver away at this while I'm watching a bit of telly or having a bit of quiet time. Sitting all in one go to show you all. I'm still a way to go, as you can see. So I finished the main body now, but I've still got to do the arms, finish the hat, the head, the collar, the buttonhole part, and a little buckle on the belt. So, and stitch the jacket to the body. So it's coming along really well. Still, obviously, neither of them have faces yet, but I'm gonna call it a day for now and come back to it soon. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I made good progress, but I really did want to include a little bit about the Toy Story WWII update, and it's already going to be quite a long video. So I'll say ta-ra for now and see you all soon. As I'm recording this, it's now the weekend. If you have been watching and like what we're doing, do drop some comments in, say hello, give us a like, a subscribe, whatever you'd like to do. It's always good to hear from you. We've just come back from a bit of shopping, myself and Neil. I just was observing a couple of things. So this is now getting towards the end of October, well into October, and the dahlia blossoms are still looking fabulous. Absolutely gorgeous. Smell lovely too, actually. A couple of very late arrivals. We've got this beautiful chrysanthemum. Has literally only started to flower this last week, so it gets that time of year, it's kind of pretty dark when I'm getting ready for work, and by the time I've got back at tea and stuff, it's already dark, so I've not been in the garden that much. And this is actually a cosmos that I grew from seed. But look, that is literally the very first flower, only just forming. It's just been such strange weather this year with that massive dry spell. I think, been a very odd one. And then Howgate Wonder. Yeah, the little apple tree just very close to here that I thought was a Bramley. They are a cooking apple, but I think they might be Howgate Wonder because they're much redder and they're a little bit like more pear smelly than a Bramley. And we were in Boston Market yesterday and they had some for sale that look really similar to these apples. They're massive, a little bit more yellowy with pinky red stripes and things. Quite a firm cooking apple and quite a fragrant cooking apple. They're really nice actually, so I'm thinking maybe there might be Howgate Wonder rather than Bramley. Anyway, I better get in because Neil's going to need some help in the garage soon, but it's just a little quick update from outside from me, and then back onto the crafting very soon. See you shortly. Hi, so this is going to be, I think, a longish section now. So I've had a really busy week and been working on a few little things which I'm going to share with you, and you saw a little bit how the garden's looking just before. So I'm filming in relative darkness again because obviously the winter nights are here, and Neil and I had a big blitz on getting the garage better sorted out, and we finally got more shelving units in, which I'm very grateful for. So in my crafting area and home winemaking and so on does need a bit of a sort, but at least I can now get to it and get things sorted out. And then there'll be various winter jobs like tool sharpening and a few things that I want to do, and also my little outside shed and tool store is a bit better sorted out, so we can hopefully, we finally got a bit of rain this weekend, so it'd be good to start getting some of the weeds up out of the flower beds, but it's just easier to do when the ground's not quite so dry and hard. Anyway, so that was that side of things. On the crafting side of things, I've actually got 3 projects on the go now. So I'm still finishing my little World War II figures, which I'll talk about in a moment. And I've been doing more work on the woody hand, which I'll show you in. So this is the first hand, and I'll show you the progress that I've made with that. But obviously the nights are getting darker, we've got the colder weather on the way, and people that have been watching us for some while will probably remember that I did make Neil a black hat in the springtime. Unfortunately, it was a bit big, so it didn't stay on his head very well. So I'm going to have another go. So I started a new hat for Neil, so I should be able to finish this quite quickly. But I decided this time to go back onto straight needles, and I'm just going to hopefully whisk through that fairly quickly. So I did a starting square this morning, and I just did, I think, 10 stitches, and I did a few rows so that I could gauge what the diameter needs to be for the new hat. So I've done that, and here's the start of it. So contrary to what people might think, Neil hasn't got a big head. He's just loud, but he hasn't got a big head. So anyway, so obviously this is the rib section, so it should be a little bit stretchy as well. So I'm hoping it'll be a good fit, but yeah, the right size this time. So fingers crossed we've got it right this time. So I started on the rib on that. It's coming along quite nicely. So I'll do a nice deep rib so he can turn it up as he wants to. And that shouldn't, in theory, take too long to make. That's pretty straightforward. So the talk about World War II figures. I'm not quite sure why, but the reason the arms are dangling a bit weirdly on my figure is because you're not actually supposed to finish tying them in until you've got things like the ammunition straps and shoulder straps in place. And so you should have a little shoulder gun ideally if I manage to organise that. So he's got his little collar, he's got ears now, he's got a nose and eyes, mouth, everything. He's got a hat, which he did a while ago, but he's now got, so there will be 2 of these as well. So I've been doing 2 of everything. So there will be a chin strap for the helmet to go on, which is knitted but not attached yet. There will be a backpack which is now knitted. So with this one, looks better when it's folded. So fold that over, and that'll be the top of the bag, and then there'll be a little button to go on there. So if I hold that a bit closer, I hope you can see that will be his little bag to go on the back. And then there are cross straps to go over the bag. And then on the front, he will have, when it's finished, I've done 2 ammunition pouches to go on the front. And again, it's a similar design. So it'll be folded up and that'll be the top of the pouch when it's finished. So it just needs stitching up, and then that will sit on the belt on the front like so. And then again there's a strap that will go on and over to the back. So there's 2 of those. But in terms of knitting, everything is knitted now. It just needs attaching to the figure. So that's one of the figures, and then there'll be a second one to do the same. So the second one just needs, I've done the ears, but the ears just need putting on, and the detail on the face. And then I think the hat's stitched on as well, but yeah, so close to finishing those. We're not quite there yet. And then last but not least, Woody progress. So I have my first Woody hand. So so I'll need stuffing, but so I'm pretty much there now with that. So I'm quite pleased how that's turned out. So I just need to make a second hand to match. I was just saying to Neil, I think possibly over the whole detail that might be the most fiddly part. So in some ways it's getting the painful part out at the start of the process, but I can see why it might be a bit disheartening for a not experienced crochet worker. So yeah. Yeah, so having done the hand, obviously then I need to start making the arm, and now obviously a second hand. So yeah. Right, anyway, so that's one for the next few days. So I may possibly do the fingers. Well, I can still remember how to do fingers. It was complicated. Anyway, so fabulous. Anyway, so that's the crafting update. And then I've got 1 more week working in the school before half-term break. So we'll see how it goes this week. Yeah, very much looking forward to a bit of a break by now. It's been quite hectic. It's been going fine, but yeah, it's been going fine. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm okay, but I had both flu jab and COVID jab over the last week, so I was glad to get them. Obviously, my body's been busy making antibodies, so a little bit weary. But anyway, I'm doing okay. And yeah, I was ringing on Friday night straight after work because it was our local harvest festival, so that was lovely. I had a really nice service over in Croft, and yeah, really nice supper afterwards. So it was lovely. And yeah, anything else? I think that's the main thing. So as I say, I'm hoping I'll make faster progress, but this has been making these fingers and then putting it all together into a hand. It's quite fiddly and quite hard work on the fingers actually as well. So things are coming together. I'm going to pause the camera for a moment. I have done one other thing, which is more of a musical makes. Hang with me one moment. So, let's bring this up in a little bit. So, most of you watching this will not know that I even possess a bass guitar. I'm a bit worried about what's going on outside, but are you okay? Hopefully he's okay. So one of my brothers kind of had it on a long-term loan, and life got busy, children, work and so on. So I said, well, you might as well have it to have a go. And then he gave it back to me around about my birthday when he came to visit. So I thought, actually, I do have a purpose for this now. So I've been working on an accompaniment. I won't say what the song is, but anyway. So this is what it sounds like now. So I'm quite pleased with the sound. It sounds like it's mellowed since I first bought it as well. Anyway, a few issues. I am still filming, but you know. Hello.
I'm having problems in the attic. I just bashed my head. I thought I'd wear an helmet when I go up.
Oh.
You need one of them this afternoon when you bashed your head in the garage, didn't you? Actually, come on.
I don't think he's going to find it in the loft, but yeah, anyway. So, a few things with it. So, because it's got quite old, even though I haven't played it much, there was a washer on the tuning peg, which had broken and snapped on two of the pegs. So I've ordered and replaced new pegs, and then I thought, well, while I'm at it, I'll replace the strings as well. So I've got some nice proper Fender strings, which sound, I think, rather lovely. So I know it might not be in perfect tuning, but I just wanted to show you. So the strings are still bedding in, so they'll probably detune quite quickly at the moment while the strings bed in. But I'm quite chuffed that I managed to change all these pegs, including the back part, get all the new strings on, and also I can't vouch the strap's on the right way, but it didn't have a strap either, so I sort of got a strap and got a proper carry case. So next time I go to the folk night, hopefully I can do my song and do a bit of so yeah, I need to so I'm not used to playing with the strap, but yeah, anyway. We get the idea. Ta-da! Anyway. So that was my main achievement yesterday. But yeah, that was just a bit of fun, so I thought I'd share that with you as well. So might even maybe feature the Christmas special, maybe. We'll see. So yeah, so I've always fancied doing a bit of bass, and it's just here we are running out of hours, days, years. So well, why not? Let's give it a go. So I'm having quite a lot of fun playing with this at the moment. So we'll put a little together bass part to go together with the song that I want to sing, which I'm still learning, and see how that goes. Wonderful. So I can still hear noises out there, so hopefully that means that the husband is still alive. Hasn't done anything too drastic up in the loft. And so if you've watched this far, many thanks. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and very much hoping that you'll join us soon for another mad adventure of Sandra makes and bakes. I did make liver and onion yesterday and completely forgot to film it because we were like super busy. Try and do better next time, Sandra. Anyway. Oh, Rasha wants to say hello. You gonna say hello, Rasha? Say hello. Say hello. Oh, good girl. Time for your walk, isn't it, Rasha? Yeah. So so that's it for this week's episode, and hopefully you'll join us again next week. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully we'll have made a bit more progress on the various crochet and knitting projects. A little bit against the clock now with my little figures, which will be needed quite soon, but hopefully I can get those done this coming week as well. Wonderful. Take care and speak to you all very soon. Sarah.